Have you ever wondered, is it possible to win a 3D challenge with only less than a year of experience and you are up against people who has been doing this for years? To answer your question, I don't even know by the time I'm recording this. Okay guys, thanks for watching. I'm just kidding. Anyways, I want to clarify something. I only have 11 months of experience, so I kinda lie about the title. I mean, hey, I'm still consider myself as a beginner, alright? So you guys might be thinking, what type of 3D challenge that put myself against people who has been doing this for years, and why? Well, this 3D challenge was organized by Punisher, a former employee or team member from Corridor Crew, as most of his audience are 3D artists. And what made most of them to join this 3D challenge is because the price. I'm talking like and the most important part is every contestant needed something that I also needed myself, which is an exposure. And that's my goal for joining this 3D challenge. I'm not here for the big prize or big reward. I'm just here for a work opportunity when I get into top 100. So whoever I'm against is like a boss fight, like any kind of Souls-like games. And how am I gonna win this? To begin with, I have to treat Punisher like a client. So why he said to win this, you need a good lighting, a good composition, and of course, the most important part is a good story. And a good story is very difficult to pull for a 5-second scene. So I came up with a bunch of ideas, but most of them just doesn't hit the spot. I even go to Xiaohongshu to find some inspiration and even ask ChatGPT to give me some ideas and maybe some concept, but I didn't get the chance to use it because it just doesn't click. So I hit up my friend and discussed some ideas, and we came up with 2 ideas. The first idea is an apocalypse happened and there's a couple feeling fateless and decided to suicide before anything comes to them. And the second idea is just some dudes got outnumbered by a bunch of AI. And yeah, after that, we let our community decide which one hit the spot, and most of the people choose the first one. And I also let my friend draw the visual idea and he came up with this. I think I kinda understand, I guess. Okay, so doing the foreground is not that challenging, except the character has to be on the foreground, but we'll talk about that one later on. So what I did, I just went to Quixelbridge and installed a bunch of assets from there and designed what I wanted to be seen on the foreground. And I don't want this to be too complicated because people will look at nothing at all. So for the grass, I use Secret Paint, one of the free plugins in Blender, where you select the object of your choice and put it on the surface where you want your object to be. This also includes the leaves on the road. And for the fence, I bend it like some kind of weird shape just to fit in the car, so it feels like a car crash, and some imperfection so this thing looks legit, because nothing in this world is perfect. And of course, some broken trees and final touch with a sign, and I also did some animation for the siren. Alright, I think I finished the foreground, but this is not enough for me to win the challenge without the next thing I want to talk about. I want to keep this part as short as possible because I'm not a good environment builder. I just used one of the Kitbash 3D assets for building. Took one of the building that I want and modify it, so I want this Midground to feel something. So I put "We're sorry" for the hologram. And you might ask, why? Well, I want this specific building to be the main issue that caused this entire chaos. So I put a very non-controversial name on the building as a signboard. Side note, I can't use the actual logo, by the way. I might get disqualified. I also gave 2 Godzilla bites on the building just for the fire to breathe. The fire on the building is gonna be challenging because I don't even know how to simulate fire in Blender. So I went to the landing page and got myself Imogen for a month. Once I downloaded and installed it, all I gotta say is I don't even know what am I looking at. Well, Imogen used nodes to generate fire and smoke simulation. So I went to YouTube again and learned what I need to learn just to set up sometimes instead of watching 5 hours of tutorial. Nevertheless, Imogen is kinda easy. This took me 3 hours to make and I exported in VDB files, which is the worst thing you can do. I'll talk about that one later on. So I went back to Blender again and also placed the fire where it's supposed to be and also fixed the texturing, of course, and we're done, but something's still missing here. Look, I want to keep this as short as possible, so I want to throw so hard on this one. I make a plane, use Keep Bash 3D again, put all the buildings on the plane, go back to Imogen again, generate bunch of smoke cause fire is gonna be everywhere. And speaking of fire, I also generate the fire from Imogen too. Went back to Blender again, place the fire where I want it to be, and also copy the material. And we're done. Well, the reason why I don't want this to be complicated, I want people to immediately know the background is just a bunch of building on fire. That's it. If it's too complicated, it's gonna be hard to tell. So we're almost done, but I just feel something ain't right about this one. So I asked my friends for any kind of suggestion or any kind of opinion. After they gave me some feedback and also some changes, and we'll finally finish the environment. Of course, I'm very appreciative to everyone who helped me with this one. But of course,
we're not done.
Unfortunately, I only have like 10 more days when doing this render, so I didn't go all out on this character. It is hard to see those details, especially where the camera is. So I generate a default character using Dash 3D and give him some random hairstyle. And for the woman, I just use one of my personal project assets just to set up sometimes. Okay, now I have the base model. Time for clothing. For the cloth simulation, I'll be using Marvelous Designer to make a very casual clothing style. The idea is came from Song Jin-woo from Solo Leveling, and for his shoe, I just found some free assets on Blender Kit and bind it with the bone with Auto Rig Pro. And for the woman, I want this feel present. Like this kind of chaos happened few hours ago. Like in The Last of Us, Ellie wears long pants and a t-shirt, which give a vibes that you know how to avoid getting yourself killed in this kind of horrifying situation. Like who will wear a skirt in this kind of situation? Only when something just happened and you don't even know what kind of bullshit is happening, then you might be still wearing the skirt. Anyway, speaking of skirts, I want to give the woman a dress. The idea came from Arif, or I don't know how to pronounce it, from Final Fantasy VII. I didn't make the leather jacket, it came from closets. Now we're set, but this won't help much if they keep T-posing without any. Well, I was planning to use one of my friends' ideas, but this is hard to tell from a very far distance. I even asked someone to give me some ideas, but none of them give me a strong story. I mean, there is, but it's very hard to put it in the 5-second scene. One of my friends gave me two ideas. One is the last glass of wine, which came from The Last of Us again. And the second one was a double suicide, which I think is kinda too cliche about this one. So I can't use this option that y'all gave me, unfortunately. But I'm very appreciated y'all at least helping me. Anyways, I was scrolling on my YouTube homepage and I stumbled across a video. It was The Amazing Spider-Man 2, where Gwen Stacy died. Not that part, this part here.
Hey.
Well, here's the problem. I cannot use this as a reference because I can't tell what is going on because of the camera angle. So I recorded myself hugging my pillow, acting like a freaky businessman as a reference video. And now time for animation, where everything goes as planned, but when I want to put the weapon in his mouth, I realized that his elbow keeps clipping through the woman's body, so I changed the position to the side, which is another freaky reference from the businessman. After that, I polished the curve, and I wanna say this thing here, I think I did good on this one. But yeah, I export it in Marvelous Designer again for the close simulation. Once it's done, I bring it back to Blender and bake the hair. I also make a fake realistic muzzle flash for the gun in the last frame here, but things still feel a little bit empty. So I went to Sketchfab to find some free zombie asset and fill in those empty space, but things still feel not good enough. It's very hard to see what is going on the foreground. The midground and the background is too bright. If I brighten up the foreground, people won't notice what is going on the foreground because people has been glued to the hologram if everything is too bright. I mean, you know, due to how sensitive our human eyes. So I still need to do one more thing. So I went back to the reference sheet. I saw this note here where he wants the plane to crash on the building. Well, the thing is that this will need to do a lot of simulation, like the building destruction and explosion. So I came up with an ideas. Instead of the plane crashing the building, how about flying over the building? Like the plane just passed by, and I want one of the engine caught on fire, so there will be lights to light up the foreground. So it's something like a switch contrast. So I download a free asset from Blender Kit again and paint where I want the plane to caught on fire by using vertex paint and And of course I went back to Imogen again and simulate where I want the fire caught on fire, thanks to the video here by the way. And I bring it back to Blender again and pairing it with an empty. And then I use a curve to animate where I want the plane to go. And then we're done. Now we have to render it out of course, but this will take very long time to render. So I use render farm and everything literally took 48 hours to render it out. And yeah, after that I composite it in Nuke, I color correct it in DaVinci Resolve, and of course export it and make sure that I follow the text specs, and finally I submitted the fucking render. By the time I'm recording this, I already know the result. So because this video is supposed to be uploaded last month, but I kinda sabotaging myself recently, you know. So yeah, whatever happened after I show you the result, thanks to our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, as he helped me a lot of these crazy trials and challenges and problems as a beginner artist, I somehow still able to solve it. So yeah, if you watch until here without clicking off, maybe you should consider subscribe and like the video. This will keep pushing me making more this kind of content, and for the next content I'll be documenting myself, like making this specific advertisement for this lovely lady, where my mom has been, you know, repeatedly ordering this, you know, specific cake from this lovely lady. And yeah, she always like make it out like very good, you know. It feels like a mom's type of home cake type of shit. So yeah, I want to make a free advertisement for this lovely lady. If you want to know what kind of advertisement it will be something very unique. It's not gonna be something like you know, you see on those like 3D, in this kind of 3D industry where they show the product like using the camera zoom in and then zoom out like crazy quality or something like that. It won't be like that. It will be something much more different than what you've seen before. So yeah, this will be something that I want to do. Anyways, as the result came out, I unfortunately didn't make it to 200. Funny enough, I even get disqualified. Not because of the controversial story that I made. It was just a stupid fucking mistake that I made. Well, in the midst of doing the midground or maybe the foreground, I think I accidentally delete one of the camera rotation nodes. So yeah, it kind of hurt because like just one fucking tiny mistake and everything just gone, you know. I was like sabotaging myself. Like I said, this video is supposed to be uploaded like last month, you know, something like that. But yeah, instead of like, you know, keep sabotaging myself, why don't I choose to level up? You know, if you put two wolves in a place where one stays in the shadow, one stays on the light, and which one will you think that will survive? And I know some of you will said like the lights will survive. Well, eventually it doesn't matter like what kind of wolf you choose. It's the one that you feed. So whoever you feed is gonna keep surviving. Alright, so yeah, like I said before, why I keep sabotaging myself, why don't I choose to level up? So yeah, after watching those criticisms they gave to those 200 artists, I realized a lot of issue in my render too, where the police car doesn't make sense because the male character is not even the police officer, and also the zombie there is very barely can see in it. I can just fix it by giving a torn colorful shirt or maybe a t-shirt or something like that. And yeah, also the fire feels a little bit wacky about it, so yeah, I can just like fix it by increasing the scale of the fire. Oh yeah, I want to talk about the VDB file. I will show you a comparison where the Imogen and of course the VDB file. As you can see, the Imogen render much more prettier. So yeah, it already comes to the conclusion. I hope you enjoy watching this beginner artist explaining how he progressed this kind of challenge. And speaking of beginner, maybe you would like to see what's my first project looks like, you can click on this video here.